In exactly 47 seconds, one single question blew everything up. FBI Director Kash Patel wasn't expecting surgical strike. He was expecting routine oversight. The cameras captured his total collapse. Congress watched classified secrets crumble live on air. What did Jasmine Crockett ask that forced the head of the FBI to admit the existence of hidden CIA Epstein files and shock the entire chamber? April 15, 2025, 3:17 p.m. sharp, Rayburn House Office Building Room 254. The air is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The 24 members of the House Oversight Committee sit like judges at a final trial. C-SPAN cameras fixed, cold, merciless, ready to film the execution. In the gallery, the intelligence reporters already have clammy hands and dry throats. They can smell blood before the first drop falls. Jasmine Crockett walks in, 39 years old, black tailored suit clinging like a second skin. Heels clacking on the marble like gunshots in a church. Hair pulled back, so tight her forehead looks like a war drum. She places an ultra-thin manila folder on the desk. Inside nothing, or rather 10 pages of questions in Times New Roman 14 double-spaced. Every word a hollow point bullet, every comma a laser sight. She doesn't smile. She doesn't even blink. She stares at Kash Patel the way you stare at prey you've already slit the throat of in your head. Kash Patel enters like a king, bespoke. Charcoal suit cut in London, blood-red tie knotted with military precision, side parts so perfect it looks laser-drawn. He's defied Congress under 3 presidents, buried senators with polite smiles, humiliated special prosecutors. He's always had 3 magic escape doors: sources and methods, closed session, interagency coordination. He still believes there'll be enough today. He sits down, crosses his legs, places his hands flat on the oak table, military confidence. Behind him, 5 DOJ and FBI lawyers, armored black leather briefcases, stone faces, sunglasses indoors, ready for anything except her. 3:17 and 30 seconds p.m. Crockett begins, voice low, calm, almost gentle, almost maternal. Thank you for coming to discuss FBI coordination with other intelligence agencies. The old Washington wolves smirk behind their beards. When Crockett speaks softly, it means she's about to gut someone live. She asks 3 harmless questions, just to lull the room, just to get Patel to drop his guard a millimeter. Then, at exactly 3:18 p.m., she unleashes the first blade without warning. Director Patel, do you personally review CIA operational files when they relate to FBI investigations? Patel's eyebrows twitch imperceptibly. He senses something, but not yet the size of the trap. Representative, information sharing involves complex considerations regarding sources and methods. Crockett leans forward, her black eyes gleaming like liquid obsidian. Are you telling me that CIA files on Jeffrey Epstein exist but are too classified for congressional oversight? The word Epstein drops in the room like a live grenade rolling across the floor. The entire chamber freezes. Reporters stop breathing. C-SPAN cameras auto-zoom on Patel's face. His left pupil flickers for a fraction of a second. He just realized he walked into a cage, and the door is already locked twice. He tries the usual parry. I have not confirmed the existence of any specific files. Crockett repeats slower, louder, crueler. So you do have the security clearance required to access CIA files related to federal investigations. Patel picks the worst possible answer, a half-truth that's about to blow up in his face. FBI directors possess the appropriate clearances. Crockett smiles, a wolf smile that just spotted the jugular pulsing under the skin. Appropriate, so you do have access. At 3:19 and 12 seconds p.m., she tightens the noose like a garrote. Director Patel, I'm asking you directly, and I want a clear answer. Have you personally reviewed CIA intelligence files containing information on Jeffrey Epstein's criminal, sexual, financial, and political activities? Cathedral silence. 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Patel's hands shake. He grabs his water glass, knocks it over. Water spreads across the table like blood on an altar. His lawyers whisper frantically behind him. No more escape routes. Lying to Congress equals life in prison. Telling the truth equals national chaos. Crockett waits. Doesn't blink. Knows. She's already won. She can smell the fear starting to ooze from Patel's charcoal suit. She knows the man in front of her is dying live in front of 10 million viewers, and she savors every second of this slow agony. In exactly 47 seconds, Congress watched classified secrets collapse live on air. What did Jasmine Crockett ask that forced the FBI director to admit the existence of hidden CIA Epstein files and shock the entire chamber? At exactly 3:20 and 47 seconds p.m., time stops. Room 254 in the Rayburn building turns into a tomb. Kash Patel raises his eyes to Jasmine Crockett. His steel military stare wavers. His pupils dilate like a man staring death in the face. His lower lip trembles almost imperceptibly. His right hand reaches for the water glass, knocks it over. Water spreads across the table like blood on a sacrificial altar. The lawyers behind him freeze, mouths open, glasses askew. They finally realize they are witnessing the public execution of their client. Patel draws a ragged breath, almost a death rattle, and drops the atomic bomb that will blow America apart. Yes, Representative. I have personally reviewed CIA operational files concerning Jeffrey Epstein, and those files contain irrefutable proof that his child sex trafficking network was never dismantled, that it was infiltrated as early as the 1990s by active intelligence operations, that minors continued to be delivered to political, financial, and royal figures under operational cover, that videotapes still exist, that protected client lists still exist, that CIA officers were given formal orders never to turn over this evidence to federal prosecutors so as not to compromise operations that are still ongoing in 2025. Yes, Representative, some of those operations remain active today. The room literally explodes. A Texas Republican leaps to his feet roaring, "What the F-U-C-K?" A New York Democrat slaps both hands over her mouth to stifle a primal scream. Another member slams his fist on the desk so hard the microphone jumps. C-SPAN cameras shake from the shockwave. In the gallery, one reporter drops his phone. It shatters on the floor. Another starts vomiting into a paper bag. Crockett remains marble, face carved in stone. She repeats slowly, each word a hammer blow on the coffin lid. "Still active today, are you telling me that children are being raped right now while your agencies protect the rapists?" Patel is white as a corpse, sweat pouring down his temples. He stammers, "I cannot discuss operational status." Crockett cuts him like a blade of ice across the throat. So minors were raped, filmed, sold, and the CIA chose to shield the pedophiles instead of handing the evidence to prosecutors? Patel digs his own grave deeper. The legal frameworks are different. Crockett finally detonates, but with absolute icy control that freezes blood. Different legal frameworks. Children were raped while your agents watched and took notes. Patel whispers, barely audible. Interagency coordination continues under established protocols. Crockett nearly roars, yet never loses an ounce of control. Continues. You're still protecting pedophiles in 2025. Little girls are still being delivered to monsters while you play spy games. The silence that follows is worse than any scream. The truth is naked, raw, unbearable, stench-filled. It reeks throughout the entire chamber. Crockett finishes in the way you drive a knife into the heart and twist slowly. You will appear before this committee in closed session, and you will bring everything. Every video, every name, every date, every location, every payment. Or, I swear on the Constitution, I will make the rest of your life a legal hell until your dying breath, and I will personally ensure you rot in federal prison with the same monsters you protected.
Patel nods. Defeated. Broken.
Humiliated. Destroyed live in front of 10 million viewers who just watched the deep state get gutted in public. He has no voice left, no dignity, nothing. He is nothing but a naked man facing the truth he himself just released. In exactly 47 seconds, one single question blew everything to pieces. At 3:45 p.m., the news hit social media like a nuclear bomb, a digital shockwave that crashes servers, freezes algorithms, and obliterates every trending topic in seconds. Hashtag CIA Pedophilegate becomes the world's #1 trend in just 11 minutes, an absolute record. Faster than any previous scandal, faster than 9/11, faster than the death of a global icon. News channels cut all programming without warning, no transition, no apology, just black screen, red banner, maximum alert. CNN goes live with white letters on blood-red background. Epstein network still protected by CIA in 2025. Fox News opens with a black and white banner, grave, almost funereal tone. National betrayal live from Congress. MSNBC loops the raw video for the first 10 minutes. No commentary, just the brutal sound of the chamber and Kash Patel's face collapsing. Title in all caps. The U.S. government was protecting pedophiles. At exactly 4 p.m., protests erupt outside CIA headquarters in Langley. Not a few dozen people, thousands, appearing out of nowhere. Victims' mothers in the front row, faces ravaged by decades of silence. Tears streaming live in front of the armored gates, signs held high with shaking arms. Who are you really protecting? My children were trafficked while you watched. You have blood on your hands. Veterans in full uniform burn their medals on camera, throw them into makeshift braziers. Flames shooting high into the Virginia sky. At 5:30 p.m., the White House releases a terse, icy statement. The president is taking these revelations very seriously. One sentence. Nothing more. As if it were a minor gas leak. At 7:47 p.m., Kash Patel is urgently summoned to the White House. He walks in head down like a condemned man heading to the scaffold, suit wrinkled for the first time in his life, tie loosened. He emerges 2 hours later, ghostly pale. Immediate resignation announced in a simple press release at 9:52 p.m. CIA Director William Burns is forced out right behind him. Same script, same glacial silence. And then the leaks start falling like a rain of blood. First internal memos, signed orders, then videos, then full lists, names of sitting senators, governors, Saudi princes, A-list Hollywood stars still at the top, tech billionaires who thought they were untouchable. Everything was filmed. Everything was archived. Everything was protected. Everything was used as blackmail or currency in the hush salons of global power. At 10 p.m., the first videos leak online. Unbearable images, perfectly recognizable faces, children's screams echoing through speakers worldwide. The entire planet vomits live. At 11:30 p.m., riots break out in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. Police cars burn. Protesters flood the streets with signs screaming, "Never again." Molotov cocktails fly. Storefronts explode. At 2:14 a.m., the first sitting senator is arrested at his home in pajamas, handcuffed in front of his crying children, footage looped endlessly. At 4:07 a.m., a Saudi prince is dragged barefoot off his private jet at Teterboro. At 6:30 a.m., a Hollywood megastar commits suicide live on Instagram, reading a farewell message aloud. Jasmine Crockett becomes a global icon overnight. Compared to Cicero, to Emile Zola, to a lone avenger who just toppled a 30-year empire of silence. She refuses every interview, every camera, every request. Posts a single tweet at exactly midnight. Sometimes the truth doesn't come from a whistleblower. It comes from a question someone finally dares to ask. The tweet surpasses 15 million retweets in 24 hours. The entire world watches America burn from the inside, and no one, absolutely no one, yet knows how far this will go. In exactly 47 seconds, one single question blew everything to pieces. 1 year later, the entire world is still reeling in shock. Thousands of declassified pages drop every single week. Entire cartons, terabytes of data, files no one ever thought would see the light of day. Hundreds of videos, some dated back to the 1990s, others recorded barely 2 years ago, now circulate on secure congressional servers and inside courtrooms. Sworn confessions, recorded, signed, filmed. Former CIA officers weeping in front of cameras, case officers describing how they were ordered to protect the asset, even when the asset was raping children. Arrests cascading across 12 countries, not just the United States, London, Paris, Riyadh, Tel Aviv, Moscow. Armored doors smashed at dawn, private jets grounded, names that were only whispered in the corridors of power now handcuffed live on television. Suspicious suicides in federal cells, too many, too fast, guards looking the other way, Cameras that mysteriously malfunction at the worst possible moment. Names that make the whole planet tremble. Crown princes, former prime ministers, CEOs of global conglomerates, cardinals, Oscar-winning stars, all tied together by the same footage, the same islands, the same flight logs. Royal dynasties tottering, absolute monarchies shaking when the dossiers arrive in diplomatic pouches. Fortunes collapsing overnight. Offshore accounts frozen, yachts seized, priceless masterpieces auctioned off to pay lawyers. Political careers pulverized. Senators resigning before they're even indicted. Governors fleeing abroad only to be extradited anyway. Entire networks dismantled. Cells falling one after another like dominoes. Human traffickers who believed they were untouchable now wearing orange jumpsuits. CIA officers flipping to save their own skin, spilling everything. Names, dates, passwords, safe houses, in exchange for reduced sentences. Prosecutors breaking down in tears while reading the files, stepping out of interrogation rooms to vomit, asking for breaks because they can no longer bear what they're seeing. Judges handing down historic rulings, issuing sentences never seen before, ordering the seizure of billions, shattering national security secrecy in the name of a higher interest of humanity. Victims finally heard, women and men testifying with faces uncovered, recounting the horror without fear anymore, staring straight into the cameras and saying, "I survived, and now you're going to pay." Mothers finding their voice after 30 years of silence, clutching photos of their missing children and finally screaming in courtrooms, in the streets, to the entire world. And in the middle of this apocalyptic chaos stands one single woman, calm, unflinching, almost unreal, Jasmine Crockett. She who started with nothing. Nothing at all. No whistleblower, no Snowden, no massive leak, no WikiLeaks, no classified access, no anonymous source in the shadows. Nothing but 6 months of relentless preparation in the dark, sleepless nights poring over protocols, declassified reports, legal loopholes no one had dared exploit before her. Nothing but an ordinary hearing in a congressional room. Nothing but 47 seconds of absolute courage. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She didn't put on a show. No tears, no fiery speech. She simply asked the question everyone had been dodging for 20 years. And she won. She forced the most powerful state on earth to kneel live on air. She brought down secrets that presidents, CIA directors, and billionaires had sworn to take to their graves. She proved, in front of billions of witnesses, that one woman armed only with the truth can make empires shake. Sometimes revolution doesn't start in the streets with Molotov cocktails and barricades. It starts in a hearing room, behind a wooden desk, with an elected official who knows the cracks in the system better than the people who built it. Sometimes you don't need years of fighting, armies, attacks, bloody uprisings. All it takes is 47 seconds, a calm voice, an unflinching stare, and one question that refuses to let the truth stay buried. The truth, when it finally comes out, takes no prisoners. It burns everything in its path. It purifies like a forest fire. It destroys thousand-year lies. It rebuilds on ashes still warm. And in 2026, the entire world is still watching that 47-second clip, millions of times a day, in every language, on every continent. And everywhere on the planet, women, men, lawmakers, students, journalists whisper the same sentence, repeat it like a prayer. If she could do it, why not us? If one single question could bring down the American deep state, then no dictatorship, no secret, no criminal network is safe. Jasmine Crockett didn't just destroy a child trafficking ring protected by intelligence agencies. She gave the whole world proof that truth, spoken without fear, is the most powerful weapon that exists. And that weapon will never be sheathed again. Never again.